Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Just started to hail out right outside with a thunderstorm. I do not like thunderstorms. It's kind of concerning. Oh boy, what a weather. A tiny bit scary, to be honest. Alright, I think I can turn down the music just a little bit lower. There we go. Yeah, it is scary. I'm kind of happy that I'm in a little bit of a hidden corner with my windows, so I don't have to worry about the hail bashing in mine. Doesn't seem too bad yet. I have actually experienced rather than hail you. Hello. Hi John, how are you doing? I've also experienced a hail where the ice balls were about as big as golf balls. Hell, people working on roofs really had a lot of work then. Like, that was crazy. Let me quickly get my controller, because we have a lot to look into today. First of all, I just noticed that there is a new Krita update out. And the first thing I saw already made me go like, hey, how about we look over that? So that's first thing on our agenda. Second thing, I got commissions. I still have that Emote Commission that I have yet to finish. So that's point 2 that we have to work with. First of all, though, how about we go over to Krita? So, I was looking. I'm famous? Nah. I just happen to befriend people without even knowing, I guess, and leave a good impression for some reason. No idea how I do that, but it happens. What happened with Krita? New update. We got a new update. I was just glossing over the change notes, but we can actually properly take a look through them together, because I was just glossing over it. You might already notice up here we got a bit of a panel icon. Does that mean that we get a bit more comic functionality? Would be kind of cool, because that's something that I honestly missed from Clip Studio Paint. Now we seem to get a bit more on that on Krita. So that's going to be a really nice addition. Secondly, how about we actually look into the change notes, the patch notes, because that's probably going to give us a few more hints. So let's have a look. So this is the official Krita site, krita.org, and I think we got a few points to go through. So how about we go them down point by point? Now, there is some technical stuff that has changed. I have no idea what that means. I'm a technical noob, but apparently they kind of switched something about the rendering, I guess. I'm an idiot, so no idea. But what's interesting is they reworked the text tool. The text tool is incredibly useful in any image editing program. Apparently we can now use the text along paths just to show that. Or inside paths. So that's going to make speech bubbles a lot more functional, a lot more useful. So that's really cool. I would say this is kind of a, just look at this, along paths. Oh my goodness! The text tool is getting versatile. It's beautiful. I love it. So that's kind of cool. Also, we have a Docker now for text properties. So choosing font, choosing size. It's beautiful. I love it. I needed this because it just was driving me nuts. Having to get the extra window to type in my text and get all the fonts that I need. Now we can do that all inside the editor, it seems. So that's really cool. How about we try that out real quick? So let's see, where's my text tool? There is my text tool. Here we have a lot of, holy moly, a lot of options. Current text properties. I can choose a style preset. So I guess that has to do with the style within the layer style. So that's kind of cool. So I can use my presets, or maybe we can save style presets for fonts or for lettering. So that's also a nice thing. I'd like to have a visual cursor, please, and typesetting mode. I think we might need, wait. Text properties Docker. Okay, so let's look into our Dockers real quick. And there are our text properties. So we can just grab that. I'll put it here on top of the layers. And here we can barely see it. Let me quickly drag it out here. And here you can actually change font size, font itself. There's a drop down. Add fallback family. Oh, so you can basically change or have a fallback in case the person on the other end opening the file doesn't have that font. So you can just choose, I don't know, Arial, Acme, Secret Agent, something like that. Whatever you like. So that's actually pretty cool. What do we have here? Characters, presets, so we can actually save presets if we need to, which is super handy if we, for example, letter comics and we need a certain font all the time and a certain setting. So I really love that. We can very much just change what is this? What is this? No, I actually have to look. So let's just change this real quick. Let's just go crazy on this. The music. Yeah, Pokemon music. Lo-fi. Love that. So we can even... Oh, are you kidding me? Font weight. So we can even make it thicker and thinner. Not quite sure what that means here. We can even change the slanting type. Oh my god, my graphics designer heart is just pounding in my chest. I just love this. This makes me so damn happy because Yes, graphics design partially is my passion. Though my real passion is still making art. It's really nice to see the new changes in here. Now the only thing that I might want to have in this, but that's just extreme nitpicking because of the graphics design thing. Oblique fonts aren't exactly straight. Oh, who would have thunk? The only thing that I might miss in here, but that's nitpicking on a really high level, and it's a bit of a yeah, I'm too much of a graphics designer, and this is probably not the right program to do this stuff. Kerning, because sometimes the gaps between letters aren't ideal. Let's put it straight. So actually, I love this. I really do, because I will probably need a few presets to do some text work for stuff that I feel like I want to do. Oh, we can even change the size here. Oh, I love those handles. I love those handles. We can move it like that. We can change the length of our text. Oh, you wouldn't have nagged about it. I'd have, since I am a graphics designer by heart too. Fair. To be fair, I'm a trained graphics designer. I'm more of an artist than a graphics designer. And font control with no kerning is like bread with no flour. If you are a layout graphics design person, yes, very much agree. If you are more the artsy type of graphics designer, then you don't give a damn about typography, unless it looks nice. So yeah, that's actually a pretty cool feature. Let's just drop that in here. Next up, what else do we have? Glyph palette. Now, I'm not entirely sure how this works. Another new addition is Glyph palette. The Glyph palette allows you to select alternate glyphs that may be present in the currently used font. The text properties docker allows configuring all the open type features in a font. The glyph palette is far more convenient. So, for example, if you have an English keyboard, other than you, the designer by heart. Puh. That's not what I meant, John. That's not what I meant. For me, it's more I trained out of necessity, because there is no training for being a free artist. You just do art stuff to be an artist. So I trained to at least have some kind of training. To have a certificate that I can say I did this. You don't really have that as a pure artist. So Glyph palette. The Glyph palette is far more convenient. Furthermore, it allows selecting Unicode characters, so you can basically... God damn it, John! Stop it. In CJK scripts. I have no idea what that means, but I think if you, for example, have an English... If you have an English keyboard, for instance, like you have a layout that does not give you umlauts or any other weird typeface letters, you can actually, let's have a look at this. Look into this and just, or if you have some letters in your font that are just very extravagant, as you can see here. So that's kind of cool. You even can look into the full character map. I like that. I don't really know how that would work on here. Let's change this to a... Why the hell do I actually still have my undo history here? I don't even like that Docker. Text properties. So let's say we have... Woohoo! Oh my god, that's scrolling fast. I need to be careful. Like, this is just... Holy moly! I can't... that's too fast. Maybe I can also kind of tweak that setting. Would be kind of nice. So let's say... Let's look for a fancy-ish font. Well, let's go for this one. Now, I don't even know how that works, or how we can get into that glyph palette setting, sorry. So I actually need to figure that out. Character maybe? Font style links, font family this one. So I have no clue how this would work. Mutate? 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 Excuse me, is that a new script thing? Huh. Muchacho. No, mutacho. Now, I have no clue how the whole glyph thing works. It's probably a bit... Wait, no, down here. I'm blind. Guys, I'm blind. We have our glyph palette right here. So we can choose our glyphs as we see fit. Latin supplements. I think this font is probably not ideal for that, but hey, we can actually get into our glyph palette. Hold up. Edit SVG source? Oh, this is how that's that. So they still have that weird editor here. No idea how that works. Looks like CSS, but I highly doubt that it's actually that. I usually don't touch it, because for me it's just like Bohemian villages kind of. I don't understand it, so I don't touch it. Convert type. Prepositioned inline wrapped. Text will not wrap and preserve space in new line. Line break is in... Okay, so this is the way this... I have no idea how that... No clue. So we still have a little bit of fun to go. Typesetting mode, that's what we just looked into. So let's have a look at that. Can change the font size on font, which is really nice. Even single letters. Oh. Hold up. That was kerning. That was kerning changes. That was kerning right there. So we do have kerning options. Oh my god! Krita is getting really good. Like, holy hell! And that's just fonts. We're not even close to the exciting stuff. I'm impressed. I am impressed. All right. So we can actually change kerning, it seems, with typesetting mode. Should have thought of that. So yeah, that's really cool. Miscellaneous. All properties were given a bit of polish, which means that Krita has full support for CSS in line 3, dominant in alignment baseline. So CSS people, you're getting your fair share of goodies. That's more than many other software does. Yes. Yes, you can now do so much with this. It's beautiful. I love it. I already love it. The new text widgets are in QML, so yeah, that's code stuff. As a side effect of the text work, vector shape editing is now a little faster. That's great. And select all, deselect now work in all vector tools. Oh, dominant is what caught me as a CSS person. Yeah, I thought so. Similarly, we now support SVG2 paint order property, which allows the outlines to be drawn behind the text. Ooh, that's great. For example, if you need your outline to make the font a bit more visible, but you don't want to squish the fill, you kind of want to have your outline behind what's written instead of in front. So that's really nice. Manual pages working with text. So that's where you can look everything up in the documentation. Next up, tools. First of all, it seems like we have a comic editing tool, and that's what got me really excited as soon as I saw that little icon. That little icon up here. Since we already have a vector layer out there, what we need, let's just get rid of that text real quick because we don't need that anymore. So that got me really excited. We now have the possibility to get comic panels going. So it is not perfect yet, but what I see is already pretty nice start. For beginners, we start with a rectangle, any type of rectangle on a vector layer. Then let's quickly go into the tool settings and no, wait, brush presets. There. We actually have the possibility to change our outline. That's already a good start. So what I want is, yeah, let's go for a white outline and let's go for, I don't know, light blue fill just to make it, maybe I want to go for black outline so you can actually see it better. So that's normal. That's completely normal. The new thing is we have this tool up here. And this tool up here enables us to just make new panels as we see fit. Now these will still stick to the same vector layer. I would actually love for this tool to have the options so I can just make, I don't know, so I can just make each panel its own vector layer, because if I go for vector layers or if I go for panels like this, I really love to have single vector layers for each panel to make my masking a lot easier. Because masking on one layer is a pain in the butt. It's a real pain in the ass. I don't want that. I'd like to have it similar to Clip Studio Paint, that if you have the option to separate each panel that you cut out into an extra layer. That's all I ask for. That's all I want. I mean, you can still make it fairly simple by just selecting one of the shapes, if it lets me. Because that's another thing. Because we do just want to select one shape here. It's still a little bit complicated for my taste. And then you just go X, make a new vector layer, and then usually you should be able to paste that in here. Doesn't quite work, it seems. So that's a little bit annoying. Would be kind of nice to have an option to just put that into a different vector layer to make sorting a bit easier. I don't know, maybe just push that onto a different layer or something. That would be really great. So that's a little bit my criticism on that tool. It's a nice start though. It's a start I can appreciate. So Krita guys, if you happen to listen, if you happen to stumble upon my very humble channel, give us the possibility to turn each of these shapes into its own vector layer. That would make me incredibly happy. All right, let's see what else do we have. So we have this. Let's quickly just look into the little presentation there to see how they use it, because of course I can overlook stuff. Also, they got some kind of template for comics here. Ah, and with that thing we can actually delete those separations. That's kind of nice. I do like that. A new comic panel editing tool. With this tool you can split merge vector objects. Yep. Free transform bounding box rotation. Our transform tool draws a bounding box around the selected area. However, this was always in the direction of the pixels, which can be quite cumbersome. Yes. Yes. Because you kind of want to have the option to keep the rotation of what you've already transformed. So let's see what that looks like now. Oh, we can rotate the bounding box itself. Oh, I really love that. Oh, I absolutely love that. That's even better. Oh, that's beautiful. So we can rotate the bounding box before we even rotate the content. That's really cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Liquify, transform mode, speed ups. So if we do anything with liquify, which is an option if you, let's put that away and let's just put something on screen with a, with some brush. Whoops. I hope nothing happened to you guys. Not quite good enough. Not good enough! Need a different brush. Let's go for this one because that's a little bit bigger. So if we actually go for the transformation box, we have better liquify. Yeah, already feels a lot nicer, a lot quicker. It's probably going to be a little bit laggy still on weaker setups, but I think that's already a good start. What do we have here? Oh, we also have options to just make the liquefy go in circles right there. Make it bigger. Like this. Go into one direction, I guess. What's this? Oh! That reverses the liquefy. Ooh, I love that. Oh, that's beautiful. If I mess up with the liquefy, I can just reverse it. And when I'm done, I apply. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I love it. Oh. I don't know if it already has been this way, but at this point, yes. Thank you very much, Krita.org. I love this. I love this, that you have more or less a preview of what you do with the liquefy tool, and then you can just say, I don't like it. I kind of want to reverse it a little bit. It's beautiful. Beautiful. I love this. Thank you. Thank you very much, Krita community, for doing this. For us humble artists. What else do we have? Just smoothing based on stroke speed. This allows reduced smoothing of a stroke with a speed. The idea is almost like jitters happening. So we can, if I see that correctly, Hi Quantum! Hello. We're currently looking at the patch notes for the new Krita update because there was a lot happening. Like, dude, we got new features. We got so many new features. So I guess this is also going to be a bit nicer for pixel art. Pixel art smoothing mode. Canvas Google Summer Code project. Oh, someone actually used their Summer Code project or Summer of Code project to improve our pixels. So pixel artists, this is your improvement for the pixel art. Drawing with a single the pixel art stabilizer provides better results when drawing with a single pixel line. So we're getting also closer to A-Sprite. Nice. Selection toolbar. Ross Rosales. The selection toolbar provides a floating bar for when a selection is active. What do you mean with that? I want to see that. Another thing that kind of works like Clip Studio Paint. We're going into a direction when Krita is actually viable as a professional program. We're getting into that direction, and especially for people using Krita on tablet, which I really like to do before bed. Like when I'm just sitting in bed watching one of my TV shows, but not on TV. You get it? I kind of like using clips. I really like using Krita on my tablet to maybe sketch something out, especially if I already know the show by heart. So we can invert our selection. We can make our selection complete. We can pretty much just fill our selection, delete everything in our selection, even duplicate and shrink the canvas to our selection. Oh, I love that idea. I really like that. And of course, make our selection go away. Awesome. Love that. It's great. All right, next one. What else do we have? Multi-brushes gain the copy translate at intervals mode. This allows drawing multiple brushes at set intervals. I think what's meant with that is this tool. I have to admit, I don't use it. I don't use the mandala brush at all. It's just not my cup of tea. So it's going to be really hard to see me actually use that and get excited about it because I don't know what I'm doing with that thing. Let's just get a watercolor brush or something. Type symmetry, mirror, translate, snowflake. I have no idea what changed in here. I don't use this. I really don't use this mode, and I'm very sorry if I can't get excited about it. I don't know, let's just use this? I do not see anything. I don't know what this is. I don't know how it works. So sorry if I can't get excited about this. I do not understand it. But what's really exciting, maybe not here, but the next one. Improved number inputs on the shape selection tool. You can now right click these to set the units. Shape selection tool. Not sure what changed here. Maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe I'm just blind. I really don't know. Does it matter though? Not really. Next one. Little bit exciting. The fill tool also got some love. Now sporting close gaps functionality, which allows it to close gaps in the line work when determining the area to fill. We have a close gaps mode. We are getting a proper close gaps mode. This makes me so happy. This makes me so happy. So let's try that out. Let's just make some kind of shape that's not quite closed. Then we're going over to fill tool. And there we don't have, where's my close gap? Adjustment, drag and fill. Where is it? How does it work? Because all I got here is just that little picture. And I have no idea what that means. I could look into the manual real quick. So let's just have a look. Fill tool, fill mode, current selection, continuous selection. No, continuous region. Regions of similar color. Foreground, background, blah, blah, blah. Fill extent. Pixel selection modes. Boundary color, threshold, spread. Close gap. Added in 5.3. Where do I use? Oh. And again. I am blind. I am blind as a I'm just blind. I just saw that. So we can actually just go like this. Not quite. It's probably more than 6 pixels here. So let's just put that up to the max until we actually see some changes. There. So it is capable of closing gaps. I like that. I love that. We all needed that, especially if we're working with some kind of line art. We all need this. Because everyone who uses line art knows there's always some kind of gap that we missed. And as soon as we try to fill something in, it goes all over the page. No one likes it. And we really needed this. We do need this, or did need this. Do we have the... We also have that option in our wands selection, so that's really cool. That's also really useful for someone like me who really likes to just... Who really just likes to select outside your... outside the shape. No idea why that's not working right now, but hey! That's cool. That's really cool. Okay, what's next? We have more here. Community spotlight, assistance, configuration of the assistant widgets. On... Oh, whoa, what are we looking here? I better not think about that right now. I just see the GIF and I'm already distracted. The on-canvas widget for the assistants have been overhauled and a duplication function has been added. I don't know what you want from me. Curve linear perspective assistant. Oh, fisheye perspective. There's fisheye perspective. So how do we do this? I rarely use the perspective stuff, so this is going to be a very new thing for me. Colorized mask tool. I might look into that later because I think that's also part of this. Update. Where did the ruler tool go? Oh wait, no, there it is. What are you? Assistant tool. Can actually do... Oh, this is for perspective rulers. So we have concentric ellipse, curve linear perspective, fisheye point. Ooh. Ooh, fancy, fancy. Infinite ruler. I actually don't use the assistant tool at all. I'm a crazy person. I have to admit, crazier than your usual artist. Because I use physical rulers on my tablet. I'm that kind of weirdo. So, assistant tool, maybe not super interesting for me at the moment, but if I ever feel like I need a fish eye point or something like that, maybe I'll look into it. Let's just... Oh. We also get just with the selection tool, we also get a nice little pop-up here. So that's really useful. That's really great. Something that we can probably use a lot. We can also still change stuff with this, with these handles here. Not sure how I'm supposed to use that, but I'm kind of happy that it's there. Can even change the color of it. So we can use a global color for all of our for all our assistant tool needs. As I said, I don't use it. I don't use it at all. Maybe I should. This looks fun. This looks funky. This looks very funky. We can easily delete that by just clicking the trash bin. Next up, curvilinear perspective. Yeah, that's that. Filters and layers. I think things have changed a little bit. Maybe even with the layer properties. So, propagate colors filter has been added. I guess that's that. And it seems like it's just growing the colors that we already have in there. This filter makes it so that an image with colors and transparency is modified to have its colors expanded into transparent areas. That can be really nice if you're, for example, doing texture work for 3D elements. So you can just grow your texture to have a bit of an overflow, for example. Such a thing is very useful in for 3D, as I just said. And game texture workflows. Their transparency often needs to be handled as a separate texture. And when the colors have been prepared with this filter, it reduces the chance of alignment issues between the transparency and the colors. So it makes texturing a little bit easier. A lot easier. Quite a bit easier. Reset transparent. A filter related to the above, in the case that a transparent pixel has values. Using reset transparent allows you, so this is pretty much an extension to this. All our blending modes got double checked for HDR support, so if you're working with anything HDR, as always, I have no idea about that stuff. Previously, Krita would sometimes clip high-range colors when doing compositing with a given blending mode. I can remember that stuff, even if the blending mode supported it. Now every blend mode that supports HDR will do so. We have ads in a little bit. I hope you stick around because we're not through with those patch notes, but that could probably help a lot with all those absolutely crazy kind of blend modes that are just down here. Kinda wanna try a few out. Yeah, we'll have ads in a little bit. I hope I'll see you then on the other side. We'll quickly have a little break in the meantime. A little bit of stretches and stuff. Definitely need some water too. Come on, ads. I want you behind me, so come quick. There we go. All right. Ads are on. We'll have a break in the meantime. That's already so much. Like I'm almost a little overwhelmed. And we're not even halfway through the page. Or okay, we're almost halfway through the page. I lied there. I lied a little bit. It's already starting pretty nice. So where's my water? There's my water. Got a bottle of water. No, I'm not British. I'm just weird. Those some people fail to see the difference. It's a lot they gave us, yes. It's a shit ton of stuff. So exciting because there's so much we can just toy with. It's amazing. And there is still more. There is still more to look at. I love this. But yeah, this is a big patch. That's a really big patch. We're all weird around here. Yeah, you're right, else you wouldn't be around. So yeah, this stuff is going to be a lot of fun to play around with. And I did not expect that. I just saw the new splash screen and thought, wait. Krita? Update? I have to look into that. Now we're here? Oh, that was a pop in my shoulder. I've gotten old on Thursday. But it helps. If it pops, it stops hurting. That's nice. At least that's usually how it goes. On another note, I have a bit of an easier time arranging my monitors around now. We are back! I have an easier time arranging my monitors around now because I have a different way of having them on my desk, I guess? But that's not what we're here for. We're here for Krita updates. Exciting shit. I has a happy. Alright, so the last thing is we got new not new blending modes, but improved blending modes, which is going to be really interesting. Fast color overlay mask, a filter that colorizes a sketch with a given color. Can be useful. Not really what I like to use. I have to try it out to maybe see if I do like it. This is different from the existing HSV filter as it is optimized for speed and quick use. So if you need to fill in surfaces quickly with just a flat color, I assume that that's going to just do that with a special button on the layer docker. Special button on the layer docker? Color transfer. Cannot quite make out what they are meaning by that. Transform shortcuts now work on multiple layers. When using the mirror, rotate, scale, shear, offset layer shortcuts while multiple layers are selected, all layers will be transformed. That's... I didn't even know that didn't work yet. The more you know. To be fair, if I needed to transform multiple layers, I usually went ahead and made a group layer. So I guess it just got so ingrained into my muscle memory for Krita that I didn't even notice that this wasn't even a thing yet. Dockers. Real-time capture mode for the recorder docker. Ooh. Real-time capture mode. Previously, the recorder docker would only capture once every few frames for performance reasons. Now, multi-threaded capturing has been added to the docker, allowing for real-time recording. I am actually still a fan. Kind of want to stop it here. I'm actually still a fan of the screenshot method that is used in the Krita recorder before. So I will not change to real-time capture mode. Also to kind of spare my CPU and my GPU from unnecessary work. But I think it's a nice addition if you want that. What else do we have? Dockers can now be added to the pop-up. Oh, I love that. Pop-up palette. This replaces the canvas brush editor, which in turn has been changed into a docker. Ooh, nice. As well as dockers can now also be added as a pop-up in the toolbar. So if you are if you are on mobile, so we're talking tablets here, Android tablets, this update is going to be awesome. For the simple fact that you can pretty much bind any Docker that you only need if you change your brush or layer, or any Docker that's just taking up too much space. You can just, wait a sec. Let me just have a look at this. Hello? Did they change my, hold up. Yep. Okay, so I actually have to change my hotkeys again. Because for some reason, they had to reset the hotkeys. I'm not a fan of it. So let's see if I can find my pop-up menu. No. Palette. No. Canvas input settings. Where did my pop-up palette go? Oh, come on. Pop-up palette? Okay, so that's just the options for the pop-up palette, but I am looking for Please don't do that to me. I hate when that happens. When I just don't know where something's going. Zoom canvas. Show pop-up widget. There we go. Key combination. It's still Alt R. Key combination. Yes. That should actually work. Oh wait, maybe I should just change to a brush tool. That might actually help. Alright, so on the side here, we actually have the option to have a Dockers in here. So if we go on that little symbol up there, we can choose from all the Dockers that we can also put across our canvases, and this is going to be super useful for people that are working on tablet. For example, what I would love to have in there is my palette layer, my palette Docker. So I'll just put it in there, and then I can just go into my palette. Now the downside of that is that Docker is going to be disabled for the time that you use it on your pop-up palette. But as soon as the pop-up palette goes away, you have it back in there. So that's a really nice addition. I actually was hoping for something like that to happen, because that could make mobile / Android tablet arting a shit ton easier. It's going to make on Android work on Android a lot nicer. Alright, what else do we have? Various improvements have been made to the grids and guides. In particular, a new isometric mode. Oh, so that's really nice for people that do isometric pixel art. Let's have a look. Isometric Legacy and isometric, that's probably the new one. So what's different? This has a lot less options, it seems. Here we have, oh, we can change the amount of subdivisions. If we can make less or we can make more. Like with the other one, we can of course change our angle. We can even change the angle separately to change that. Main style, oh, we can even change the lines. So the main difference is that we can change the subdivision amount. And it seems like we can now also change the subdivision style with dashed lines or dots and the color of it. So we actually have we have the option to put subdivisions into our isometric grid. That's kind of cool. I don't use anything isometric, at least I have not yet. So I cannot really judge on that feature too well. But it's a nice start. Alright, what else do we have? Because there's still stuff to go through. Brushes. 2 new important improvements were added for working with textures and brushes. Textures and brushes are a great thing. I really like experimenting around with textures and brushes, so this could actually be an interesting thing to work with. We have soft texturing mode for the pattern option. So if we use a pattern with our brushes, I guess this is going to be a bit not as crunchy as it used to be if you just enable the soft texturing mode. I kind of like my crunchy textures. I really do like the crunchy textures because they give a little bit more character to the painting. But if it's not your cup of tea, there you go. By default, Krita's texturing option uses the strength and pattern options together to limit the brush by the pattern. Based on the strength, this gives a nice textured stroke, much like using a dry brush and textured piece of paper. That's exactly what I kind of like. I really like that stuff. New soft texturing mode switches the behavior of strength and making it instead control how much the pattern has effect on the brush. With at low values the pattern being invisible, this is more akin to switching between a wet and a dry brush over time. So if you turn up the value, for example, tying it to pressure, tying it to, you could even do a fuzzy dab so that it's going random depending on what kind of stroke you're making, stuff like that. So that could be an interesting thing to actually toy with, but not sure if I will use it. Pattern auto invert for eraser. That one's really cool, and I explain to you why. So if you have a pattern or a textured brush, you usually don't exactly erase with the pattern you're given. I think it's somewhat inverted. Let's get a really textured brush. Guess I'm just going with one of my modified ones. Where are you? Where did I put that brush again? I know it's here. There. So let's go with this brush. Usually when you go to erase this, it's a little bit weird. You can kind of see that the texture is not quite on top of it, and you need several strokes to do some proper erasing. You can still kind of see it shine through. Now, if we're going in here into our patterns, go into the options, we have auto invert for eraser. So if we actually click that, we'll just get that down. We make a pattern stroke like this, go into our eraser option. It kind of changes. It's barely visible, But you see that it's taking the pattern a little bit differently. I guess with such a strong pattern like this, it might not be super visible, so take that one with a grain of salt. With a big one. So that's another thing. How much do we have left? Corner mode for curves. Krita's brush engine uses curves extensively to configure the effects of various sensors. Ah, so we can actually make corners for our curves to make the way the brushes behave a bit more interesting. By default, the points on this curve are smooth cubic curves, which is useful in most cases. However, sometimes you want a little bit more control. Yeah, if you want a certain value to end up at a different... I bring up the random stuff. Oh, come on, it's not that random. Oh, you mean you now bringing up random stuff. Also, hi, OwO! We're currently going through Krita. Make things more interesting is exactly what I want from an art program. Smooth cubic curves, so you have more control over how your curves behave with color adjustment and stuff like that. Marker blend mode. Wait, we get an extra blend mode for markers? A blend mode that prevents building up opacities across multiple strokes. Wait, are you telling me that I'm gonna have the option? Okay, I think I understand this one. And this one's great if you wanna do washes, which I love to do. So this is going to be just my blend mode. So I have these watercolor brushes, and if you layer strokes on top of each other. Hey, Mr. Yux! I remember you, but I don't quite remember you. Wait, I have to think. Cause I know that name, but I cannot remember where I know you from. I'm sorry. So, I really like to use those watercolor brushes. Oh, from Kenny's streams, right! Right! Oh my god, that's been ages. That's been ages. How the hell do you manage to get here? So yeah, I usually like to do some washes every now and then. Now, it seems like we actually have a blend mode that I probably need to find. Must be somewhere around here. Just have to find it. So many blend modes I can actually try out. Lighten, Misc maybe? Bump map, normal map, mix? I cannot find it. I cannot find it. What? Oh, there's our Markham blend mode. I'm just throwing it into my favorites right now. So let's see what this brush is. Let's see how this brush is different now. Not really different. So maybe it does not work on every brush or on every brush the same way. So let's look for a different one. Maybe actually a marker brush. That should probably help. So let's try that. Yeah, Yeah, okay, now I understand. So if you're using a marker brush, if you really like to use a marker brush, then you have a more consistent opacity when using that. So that's kind of cool. Because I saw one of your first streams when you started and wasn't getting any notifications since then. Recently checked what was happening and apparently my notifications for you were off. How? God damn it, YouTube. It's been so long that you opened the Book of Ages to see somebody torn out all the pages. But hey, nice to see you around. It's been really a long time, an extremely long time that I've seen your name last. So I'm sorry that I didn't recognize you immediately. So this is really nice when you just want to get some coverage done with markers without having to just rub all over your tablet. Kind of like that. Still need to figure out how it actually works, but that's a good start. Yeah, because I also changed my name mostly everywhere. Also go by Decipher. Huh. Interesting. All right, so that was the marker blend mode. Let's see what else we got. Files. Okay, now we're going into the more technical side, so that's not much that we can try out. However, it's still somewhat interesting. Radiance RGB, HDR support. So if you use HDR stuff, but I guess that's something to do with your monitor. I have no idea what it is though, so don't ask me. Krita 5.3 now has support for loading and saving Radiance RGBE files. This is an older but fairly widely used HDR image format. Okay, and it should be a boon for people working with HDR images. If someone can explain to me what this means, I would very much appreciate that. New bundle creator. So apparently, we can now make resource bundles a lot easier. I have never made a resource bundle, mostly because I am more the type that hoards the resources instead of making my own very much. At best, I edit my brushes and maybe make a pattern if it suits me, if it helps me out. It would be kind of cool if we could, and that's a bit of a me thing, because we also have what is it? We also have symbol libraries. So it would be really great if they haven't done that already. If you had an easier way to import your a symbol library, that would be really awesome. I would love that. So I kind of want to have a bit of bigger icon size here. If it lets me, maybe not. All right, so would be kind of cool if we had an easier way to get these symbol libraries going. But I guess that's a me thing, because you can make a vector file and just throw it into your Krita, and that apparently works. Not super happy about it, but it is what it is. Support for text shapes and guides for PSD. So we can just import a PSD file and we actually can use the text as a text layer. That's really cool. That's really useful. I would definitely love that. By the way, which Linux distro do you use? I am currently on Pika OS and I have been for a little more than a year, I think. Might want to poke the people that put that distro together because I'm having a little bit trouble with a few programs, and since that distro is so small, I might have a chance to actually get a word in there on how to make it work. But just might. Python plugins. We also get some Python plugins, I think, pre-installed. The release contains several Python API improvements. Okay, most notable is that we now have an API for painting brushstrokes. Okay, wrappers were added for the following widgets: angle selector, slidable, and then finally the following bundles were added based on the shoe platform. Oh, god damn it. Of course you use Arch, by the way. I should have known, Mr. Yux, that you use Arch, by the way. You're one of those Linux users. Of course. So we got Brush Mutator plugin. Okay, so that's the mutator option in the settings. A Python extension for Krita, which adds brush variation through artist-invoked settings randomization. Okay. When the mutator extension is active, brush parameter, I rather just pronounce it the German way to make it easier for my tongue. Oh no, I'm not. I hate the community. I got into Arch because I want to create my own OS. Just to piss him off. Gee. Brush parameter size rotation. Color mutation ranges can be configured in the mutator Docker. Random mutations can be manually triggered via mutate action. I have no idea what that means, but we probably gonna look into that now. So we have a Docker for this. Brush. Comics Manager, that's kind of nice, but we already have that. Mutator, so let's turn that one on. Not quite sure what that does. I guess I'll have to try some stuff out. I don't get it. I don't get it. Not sure what that's about. Size mutation? Mutate? Ah, okay. So it's pretty much just to change all the settings, I guess. I don't really need that. I don't understand it, so I don't think I will need that. And Python palette Docker re-edit. The Python palette Docker was re-enabled. This Docker is largely meant for palette editing experiments. Having support. Okay, so if you into that, like building palettes and stuff like that, probably useful. Workflow buttons Docker. Workflow buttons Docker allows you to configure your own little Docker with all sorts of buttons, with a highlight being the ability to order and resize them to your choosing. Is that an automation tool, or am I just stupid? I mean, I usually assume that I'm stupid, so... To have an OS that is user-friendly as a selling point and pissing off the Arch community as a marketing strategy. You are weird. Love that. Oh, I basically like to control my own PC, and Arch gives that control. Yes, but that's Linux as a whole, to be fair. The art community is on its own is horrifying, though. They can be somewhat elitist. I understand that. And I love to make things that are accessible, so thought best of both worlds. Of course, they had to draw a busty gal for the update notes. Of course they did! And it's even a snake girl! Ain't she pretty? Other separate eraser cursors for non-brush tools. When drawing, it can sometimes be hard to remember whether you are in eraser mode or so there's an update for all the tool cursors with an eraser icon. Oh! At this place, it's like eye candy for those who were patient. Yes, indeed. Pen tilt tweak, so they improved pen tilt, which I very much appreciate. Save global color history. Option to save per document. That's actually okay. I jumped to this because it caught my eye. Because that was a feature that I actually requested. I put in a feature request for this specific thing. And it seems like someone thought it's so easy to implement, I might as well. Thank you, whoever did this. Thank you so much to making this work, because having a color history and having a brush history for single documents, the latter, maybe it will be implemented at some point, but it will help a lot because I forget which brushes I use per document. And I really like to vary my brush usage. So saving the color history is already helpful as hell. It's going to help me a lot because I don't have to just make color palettes galore. Don't like to hoard those, to be honest. Yeah, the art community is a bit of a somewhat elitist circle, I would say. Spend more time insulting people that ask for help than anything else. The community, yes, if you have a single person using Arch, it can be completely different. There are some good people in there, but it's really terrifying. Yeah, that's true. So, because I just skipped to that one, pen tilt tweaks, as I said, they apparently improved that, which is helping. Some models of drawing tablets, however, not all tablets support tilt. Furthermore, if you create... So the tablet that I'm using actually has tilt. I can use my pen tilt to change the shape of the brush. Toxic words. Oh god, Earl, you're adorable. Soft-proofing overhaul. Previously, our soft-proofing did not allow black point compensation. That has something to do with print. I rarely use print, though, considering that I've been doing a few sticker sheets, that might change. CSS palette support. Palette Docker can now load CSS files, so that could be useful. More actions available in Canvas input settings. Just a second. My headphones just went out and I don't like... There we go. No idea why that did that. I have no idea why my Bluetooth is behaving that way by just randomly disconnecting my headphones. Available in Canvas input settings. This adds a variety of actions like color sampler, deselect, layer activation, and some tool activation to the Canvas input settings. Well, they can be active. glancing over this, not quite sure what that does. Maybe I will find out while I'm using it without even knowing. Zoom shortcuts. Now I have the ability to zoom to mouse or zoom to canvas center separately. That's kind of nice. Just found the redeems. This is awesome. Ah, you're welcome, Quantum. So we can just either zoom to our mouse or zoom to the center. Kind of nice. I like to use the navigation docker, the overview docker. So, meh. And then we have everyone who contributed to all of these great... Oh, I can actually look up who did my who did the color history thing. Where's my color history? Who am I supposed to thank? Liquify, knife tool, assistant editor, saving color is Boromir Wings. Boromir Wings. Thank you very much for the color history. Thank you so much. I needed this. I needed this so bad. I do not work on Krita. I just use Krita. But I am thankful to everyone who wrote these awesome new changes. There are a few things that I'd love to see in the future that might even be able to be implemented. For example, what I'm still kind of missing is a bit of a different vector engine, because I still want my brushes to be able to use vector pathing, but that might be a bit too complicated or a bit weird to implement. So yeah, big new update. I am absolutely stoked for what we got. I love it. Just noticed when I started stream and just booted up Krita that all of a sudden, oh, big new update. So yeah, as I said, thanks to everyone who contributed to this. Changes are awesome. I can't quite say if all of them are great, because I'm not sure if I am going to use all of them. But the ones that I will use are things that are helping a lot with getting the workflow a bit smoother. Yeah, smoother is the right word here. However, today we have a very different thing to work on. It's almost been 2 hours. I'm so sorry that it took so damn long to get through those patch notes. But this is so important for me. It's so great. Think of toxic people's minds like sand, but there is no water, just sand at the top with scorpions on top that affect me slightly. I would more see people with a toxic mindset as people that have a lot of growing up to do. But yeah, this is just great. We have work to do. I am still not convinced if I actually want to do this in a static. Do you use Bezier curves at all for vector brushing? I would love to. The problem is in Krita, you have no brush attachment to vector curves, so that's kind of what I'd like to see in Krita at some point. That's really the Because in Clip Studio Paint you can actually use the brushes for vector lines. So the brushes that you have installed also convert into vector lines if you use a vector layer. You can't do that on Krita. I find it a little bit sad, but maybe at some point someone manages to make that work. Probably also gonna it probably also gonna require a huge rewrite on the brush engine. So I'm not surprised if they are taking their time to actually get that working. What part do they not grow out of? Being emotionally immature. Sounds simple, but actually it is. Most toxic people just have a very, very unhealthy relationship with their ego because they have to protect it whatever. And that usually leads to behavior that is often enough inconsiderate of other people. It leads into manipulative behavior. And, well, it's pretty much it. But that's usually actually kind of tied to trauma. People like those usually suffer from some kind of trauma when they have a hard time to actually grow up emotionally. All right, so let's do some art. It's time for arting now. I really need to figure out what kind of brush I want to use. I'm probably going for something very simple for the line art. So, just Google searching here, but have you checked out the Toon Squid Vector Brushes plugin? No. Did you just give me the holy grail of vector brush? Hold up. Toon Squid Vector Brush plug in. I kind of doubt that it's going to work with the new patch. But hey, who knows? Vector brushes, Toon Squid. Let's have a look at that, because that sounds promising. My pixel brushes can create strokes with lots of intricate details. Textures. The final drawing always exists at a fixed resolution. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's not what I'm looking for, because this is not for Krita. If I see that right, then this plugin is actually... It looks like it's for... what's it called? The thing you usually use on an Apple iPad thing. This looks like it's supposed to be for... What is this for? I mean, maybe it's a... Yeah, it's for iPad, so this is just not... No, that's not what I'm looking for. Would be great if that's actually how that would work, but nah. Sadly, not what I was hoping for. Would be cool if it was, though. However, we got work to do. Whoop. And I need to find a good brush for line art, because that's what just... that's what I got distracted from. Probably should choose a black. But yeah, actually pretty cool stuff. And we have ads in 3 minutes. Oh god. It's fine. You thought you saw something, but well, there was hope. Pixel stable. Oh, that's for pixel art. Ah, that's nice. That's great. So, if you use any kind of brain, come on. Any kind of pixel brush, you can go over to Pixel Stabilizer and then use that for nice pixely lines. Not what I need right now, but it will be nice if when I work on the game art again. Too thick. There we go. The only thing that I have a problem with the normal or with the stabilizer there is that pen pressure is kind of going down the drain. But I guess if you need to slow down your stroke, you kind of have to sacrifice something, I guess. So I don't mind that my pen pressure is not quite up to snuff. I need to turn up the delay a little bit. There we go. That's a really nice line here. How small do those outer gods think of us, humanity in Lovecraft? We're probably just means to an end. Like, they only need us to have a devotee, and that's about it. Alright, we have ads in a little bit. So hold on to your butts, and I'll see you in 3-ish minutes. As soon as the ads start, of course. Also, my throat is... Ah! I'm dying! Not quite, but... my throat is not happy. I'll stick around, though. Just need to drink a little bit more. Also, I heard a certain Satisfactory streamer isn't streaming today. Oh, too bad. Well, that's fine. I mean, I'm here for you. Yes, more time for me, indeed. Might as well do some shameless self-promotion in Jeezy's Discord. I think those types of beings see us more as an entertainment. Imagine you're walking around and suddenly see a few ants dancing in a circle saying your name. It's weird, but it's mostly just seeing what these ants can do more. Kinda. I'll just do some shameless self-promotion on Jeezy's server because I can. Because I can. Either we're just a speck or to their perspective or smaller than a speck. Yeah, kinda. Alrighty. Ads are over. We're back. Gotta go walk the doggos. Have fun with the doggos. Have fun having your walk. Touch a lot of grass. You will lurk. Great. Then I hopefully see you after you walk the dogs. Alright, let's get back to weighted. Also, not sure what this means, but apparently there are also some other changes to stabilizers, which I don't mind. Just have to find out what they do. It's usually the problem with me and technicalities. I have no clue what they do, but it's nice that they did the changes. Just have to figure out what it is about. Kinda want to use the fill tool here, so let's grow that a few pixels. Then I'll go a little bit smaller for that. This looks so adorable. I almost want to make another sticker pack out of this. Stickers! I mean, who doesn't like stickers? You can put them everywhere. They can be pretty and they can be fun. I really need a new hotkey for getting that eraser mode. Because this is not what I want. I just want this to be turned on when I press my back button there. So, Krita forum. I guess they talked about vector brushes back in... Yes! And one of the lead devs suggested using the calligraphy tool, saying it does essentially the same thing, which is not right. Which is just not correct. I wish it was true, but it definitely is not. The calligraphy tool just gives you, well, a calligraphy pen. It's not what I want. I want these brushes along vector lines, and that's, well, I can imagine that it's quite complicated to even get that working. Oh, this is so nice. I love this so much. Let's duplicate that. Wait, what? Eh? Hey? I guess this is still a little bit buggy. So I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. But yeah, I've seen the problems or the thread on the Krita forum. Would we ever see a tree grow from another planet that is similar to Earth if it could grow the same way? I mean, considering that our planet has mostly what was it? Kohlenstoff. What's it called in English? Brain is not braining right there. I need to actually look that up. Because you know, I'm speaking English for more than an hour. And still I cannot remember basic words. Carbon. Since we are a carbon-based life form, or anything on Earth right now, if it is a life form, is usually carbon-based, it would probably we probably have to assume that on that planet the life forms there should also be carbon-based. Not sure if there is any other element in our periodical system. If that's even all of the elements overall that could actually create life. But I guess if any life form would be carbon-based, like here on Earth, it would be likely that trees would be at least similar. Earth was made by a large collision, yes, but the elements had to come from somewhere. That was... It doesn't quite compute what you're trying to say. Thing is, when we're talking about anything live, we have to keep in the back of my mind there might, or in the back of our minds, that there might be elements out there that we have yet to discover that could also contribute to a life form. I hope that's not too complicated. I'm just thinking here. I could be talking a whole lot of gobbledygook. I'm honest, because I am not an expert. I am not a scientist, especially. And a lot of single conditions that just so happen to happen. Yes, that's also... We are an absolutely amazing coincidence. The fact that a life form like the human exists is a crazy coincidence, because first there had to be a planet that actually managed to develop a life form, before that, that planet has to be created, or has to exist in the perfect conditions to even nurture life the way it does, which is already absolutely insane. And I think we have maybe discovered one other planet light years away, which is a distance, by the by, in case someone doesn't know yet. That is light years away, that may have similar conditions to our planet. I think I heard something along those lines. Oh, no, it's not going to be a second Earth, for the simple fact that we won't even survive the travel there. The sightings of those lights, they probably have a larger evolution. Eh? But yeah, there are so many wild factors just playing into the fact that we exist. The Earth needed millions of years just to become somewhat hospitable, yes. And then took a few 100,000 more to be ready for us. Yeah, it's just crazy. It all depends on elements and their ability to create combinations with other elements. Molecules. Carbon is the easiest element to create combinations with other elements, as it is the very first element of matter in the periodic table. Scientists discuss the possibility of silicon-based life forms, though. That could be interesting. That could be really interesting. I mean, what would such a life form look like? One that is just silicon-based. And isn't silicon like melted sand? Or am I just confusing something? The horseshoe crab not changing has something to do with evolution. That's very, very far away from what we're actually talking. Poor choice of words. I meant something different. Yeah. Sometimes English is kind of hard when you're not a native speaker. Hi, Squiggity Goo. How do you do? How's it going? There have been like 7 separate instances in all of life where things evolved to crabs. Yeah, I guess crabs are the most efficient life form? It seems like it. So why the hell do we not have claws? Why are we not crabs? Why can't we be crab? I would love to be a crab. Though I might be cooked then, quite literally. So, let's forget that. Maybe I don't want to be a crab. Now we speak with life forms of lobsters and jellyfish won't die unless acted upon externally. Yes. Oh no, not the lobster. Now I'm thinking of Jordan B. Peterson. Thank you very much for that. So should we organize our social systems along the line of the lobsters? Some people are crap. That's the wrong crap, but close enough. Great. Great. Won't get that out of my head for a while. Hey, that's funky enough. Also, we won't get rid of roaches. At least not easily. After all, they can survive nuclear fallout. So they will definitely survive us. Unless we smoosh them all! Nah. I don't know why, but I find roaches actually somewhat sympathetic. I don't know. They are working so hard to stay alive. They dig through our fucking trash just to get some food going. Not roaches, and we won't get rid of... I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. You're not going to bait me into saying that word! Yes, them roaches. To be fair, there are so many types of roaches around. The only ones that are actually harmful to human life, kind of. There's just one specific one. And the other types of roaches are just they're just there. I hate roaches. Oh well. For example, forest roaches. They are actually... They're just there. And they really only come into a household if you're living near a forest, of course. But they are not producing in a way like cockroaches would. Humanity's evolution to learning more than just several, then die, but finding what makes it. Humanity's evolution to learning more than just several, then die. Finding what makes up everything and what works and what is out of it. Sometimes I have a really hard time actually understanding what you say. Which just confuses me. I don't mind being confused, but what? The difference compared to other animals is that we record our history. Yes. First of all, that. Also, the fact that we more or less developed our environment or formed our environment in a way to benefit from it. On a massive scale, I might add, because, well, other somewhat or pretty intelligent animals, like for instance crows, use tools too. And that allows for characterized improvement. Yes. Now, to be fair, I would not be surprised if crows or ravens actually somewhat have a culture of mouth-to-mouth propaganda. Like, they tell each other stories to learn from them. Would be... I mean, it would make sense, considering that they also can lie to each other. Exploitation, yes! Ah, there we go. There's the satisfactory gene. There's the satisfactory gene. We got it. We shall exploit. But only with the best AI we can have. Ada. We need Ada to exploit. There's a species of chimp that recently started using sticks as weapons. Oh boy, they're catching up. We have 3D printers making sticks. I mean, yes and no. I've never seen a 3D printed steak. Though I would actually want to try one. Just for shits and giggles. My question then is, would that be a vegan steak since no actual animal died for it? Huh. I mean, it would be kind of interesting, that debate. If a 3D printed steak would actually be vegan because there was no animal harmed. I think I want to make that as an extra layer here. And this I actually need a stabilizer for. Yep, that works. That works nicely. As long as the DNA doesn't contain anything genetically animal in it. I think veganism has nothing to do with genetics. It's more about not harming animals in a way. So if we can replicate the genetic material in a way, then in a synthetic way especially, then I think it should actually be vegan, isn't it? So if that's actually possible, we can synthetically reproduce meat that mimics animal meat, then I would say that could be technically called vegan. Since, as I said, veganism is more about saving the animals. Replicate just the ass meat for me. Oh, goodness gracious. You're one of those meat eaters, huh? You're into the real weird shit. Kinda wanna have these on top. And I want them in white. The gluteus, the maximus. He only wants the butt. Steaks come from they come from the I'm pretty sure steaks come from more than just the butt. There are more parts on an animal, especially when we're talking cows. That get used in as a steak. You broke me, Quantum. You broke me. God damn it. How could you? How dare you break me? Why'd you do that to me? Okay. Let's have a base color real quick. There are different kinds of steaks. But yeah, they come from the butt. Okay. Okay. I've learned a thing today. Steaks come from the butt. Wait. And if you're having steak, does that mean you eat ass? Oh god damn it! No! Oh no! Oh no! When I eat a steak, I eat ass. Oh god. Oh. Jesus. Thanks for that, John. Didn't say I have steak, but you did. Alright, so that explains a lot, I guess. I'm proud of the quality of your jokes though. Good. I'd be sad if you wouldn't like them. Alright. Yeah, me just going like, I'm going to eat ass tonight. I got 2 steaks in the fridge. Are you being for real with what a steak is? Apparently, if that is true, then I guess it is. I guess that is what it is. I'm so sorry, man. I didn't know that. I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind eating ass. I think that first has to settle. What the hell am I doing? I can just look into my documents for here. And then we just push that in as a new document because we can. So yeah, that's our incredibly weird pun of the week. Lovely. Okay, we don't need to close any gaps, so that's gonna be nice. Am I overfilling? I might be, so I'm just gonna turn down the growth to 1 pixel. That's gonna be a bit nicer. And we have this nice dark blue. Maybe I do want to add another pixel here. And the rest I'm just gonna fill in with my brush right here. So what did we learn today? Everyone who had a steak is eating ass. Gosh dang darn it. Back on crows, they have been found to remember and communicate. They are probably the closest to intelligent domestication, in my opinion. I love crows. Crows are probably the greatest bird species we have on Earth. They also remember when someone actually saved their life by helping them. So crows are, if legal, probably one of the greatest pets you can have, because you know that they are going to be intelligent. They're not going to be your baby. They're going to be your best buddy. I think, if I remember correctly, I've even seen a few crows just learn how to talk, which is absolutely cool. If you can modify your voice box in a way so that you can actually speak another species language, if you know how to do that, and that species even understands you, that's awesome. Crows are fascinating creatures. And beautiful. I love the way they look. The big beak, the beautiful black wings. Crows are awesome. Crows are awesome animals. Full stop. I would even go so far to say they're one of my favorites. Not the favorite, because that's still reserved for the turtle. I love turtles. Turtles are my absolute favorite animal. If crows can learn human languages, they can use it to speak to us. The thing is, I think, as far as I know, those crows who have actually learned a human language, they're kinda on the level of a 5-year-old-ish. So you can't get too complex with a crow. But it's already fascinating that they can do that. Like, I think it's absolutely cool that, as I said, a different animal can, or a animal can learn the language of another like that. Having the intelligence in the first place to do that. I think that's absolutely awesome. Crows are best animals. Absolutely best animals. In the whole wild world. Whole wide world. And yes, there's a difference between being the best animal and being my favorite animal. Because I know there are a lot of downsides to turtles. They're awesome. Would like a raccoon or a fox? Oh, raccoons are weird. Also, if you want a raccoon, you might as well also look into possums. I think they are just equally equally savage. The hell did I do? As long as it works. As long as it still works. Right, we need a multiply layer for the shading. And the brush that we can actually use for it. Foxes need a lot of space to run around. If you can provide that, and if it's legal, that's usually the biggest hindrance. That keeping a fox usually requires you either to have a license for it, or it's illegal full stop. Need a red panda for the best of both worlds. Jeezy and I found out they are the best fit. Love that. Would it be unsettling if the human... Dude! You are jumping to really weird topics. Earl, we're not going there. We are not going there. You understand me? I think that's not in... Nah, it almost looks the same. So we kind of have to keep an eye on how it would look as a tiny one, as a tiny picture. Oh, no. No. We're not talking about these kinds of films, please. Please. Still wanna... I still wanna keep my... I kinda wanna keep my, channel, please. Because that's just going into a direction that I'm not comfortable with. I mean, I don't even know if that's TOS, but I rather be safe than sorry. Seriously. Earl, please. No, I don't think it would be much TOS. I just have that weird feeling that something's looming over me when I discuss horror movies. So I rather not. I rather be careful. I'm getting hungry. Well, to be fair, it is that time of day that I'm kind of getting peckish. So I actually wanted to finish the emotes. I'm barely getting past the first one. Ah. But Krita. But Krita just decided we are having a big update. You Zoe? Okay, okay. I forgive you for now. We're a Christian wait, no, we're not even a Minecraft server here. I think this might actually be a little bit too dark. So maybe I do want to turn down the opacity here. I'm sorry, Mom. Just because I'm old. As I said, I forgive you for now. Probably won't even be able to see the detailed kind of shadows. That's sad. Know what's even worse? I'm getting peckish and I ran out of cookies. So I can't even have a snack. I would actually have to take a break, make myself something to eat, and then come back. What really sucks though is that I'm living so far off city center or town center. I can't even get something delivered here. And if I do, I have to pay way too much money for it. So the only viable choice for me, for my budget, is just cooking myself. Doesn't mean that I don't enjoy cooking though. Mostly, the thing is, how to put it? I enjoy cooking for the reason that I'm getting kind of excited while cooking about eating something that is delicious. So it's not even exactly the process of cooking that I like, but it's the anticipation of the result that makes me enjoy cooking, because I also have the full control over my ingredients, the process, and if it's messed up, I'm the only one to blame, which, to be fair, is also another thing that I kind of like. I don't want to have to blame other people for messed up food. Sounds weird, but if you think about it, it actually makes sense. It kind of sucks if you have to rely on another person for your sustenance that way. Especially if you don't even know if it's going to be good or not. And yes, of course, there are reviews out there, but I don't know, man. I'd rather make my pizza, do my pizza myself. Like making the dough, okay, that also requires a little bit of preparation, yes, but good pizza takes time. Also, if you make more than one portion ahead of time, like you at least want to have your dough to stick in to be in your fridge for at least a day minimum. At the max I would go for 5 days. If you leave it in your fridge for a week, I would suggest not turning it into pizza. I would more suggest turning it into pizza bread. That might be a bit of a better idea. What did I want? Color dodge, I think. Yes, color dodge. So yeah, good pizza takes time, but it's totally worth it. There's some really great YouTube channels out there that do cooking and baking content, or you can just snap a recipe. Use that. It's absolutely okay as long as you think it's tasty. As long as you give it a try. I mean, that's why. Sorry, that's why people share their recipes, so you can give it a try. Oh, God damn it. At least cook basic meals, yeah. I mean, it's easy to learn how to make the basics, like cooking noodles, cooking rice, frying stuff like vegetables. I really like putting vegetables in the oven, just cutting them down, put them on a tray, a little bit of oil and seasoning, and then just throw them into the oven for at max half an hour. It's pretty. It's not a quick meal, but it is an easy meal to do. We have ads in about 3-ish minutes, so be prepared for that. I thought that is already as white as it can get. But yeah, learning how to prepare simple meals or the basics of cooking is already a good start. Earl is being random again. Alright, so... Is this still readable? I'm not entirely sure. I might actually put something on top of those lashes. Because this is, it's kind of hard to see that that's separate from the fur. You said you bring up the random things. Yeah, it's just when you bring up random things, Earl, it's kind of like, where the hell is he coming from? What's the context? Context! Context! Okay, I think now you can actually see this better. We'll have ads in a few, so just so you know. Hi, Juggler! Hello, hello, how are you doing? You have a bit of bad timing. We'll have ads in about 10 seconds-ish. How are we doing today? If that kitty asks my soul, would that... with that face, I can't refuse. Yeah, we're doing emote commissions. I do have a commission where I have to do some emotes for a friend. So I'm still open to do more, and we'll have ads in a little bit. I might actually look if I can get me a little... No, they have yet to actually arrive. I put up the pause screen as soon as I'm getting notified that the ads are running. I might actually get my... There we go. I am going to get myself a quick snack. So my lovely little belly is not complaining anymore. I'll see you in 3-ish minutes. I has returned. Yes, we are back. Unmuted. I got myself a jelly sandwich. Strawberry jam. Nom nom. I need something for sustenance. Couldn't find anything better than jam and bread. Where are ours? Oh, come on! Don't be like monkeys. Monkey. Don't be like monkey. Jellyfish sandwich. Yes, it's a jellyfish sandwich. Yep, I need this. Sorry for anyone who can't take people chewing. I'm trying not to chew into the microphone though. I do my very best. Thank you very much for the follow, Chuck. I just saw the email notification. Question is, where is the alert? You're cute when you... Oh. Thank you, John. You are in a jam. Now we are all in a pickle. Oh well. You might be laughing at me, but I have problems with pickle jars. I'm just a woman. Pickle jars are my nemesis. I cannot open them because I have noodle arms. Yeah, I knew you and I know you stream, but never dropped a follow. Well, now you changed that. Chuck, I has a happy that you dropped by. I know you usually hang out over at Jeezy's. So I very much appreciate the follow. So maybe you can come over next time when Jeezy is not... When Jeezy is not streaming again. Girlfriends usually goes to the hammer rather than ask me, so there are options. Not quite sure what you mean with that, but okay. Glad to be here. I'm glad to have you around. Yes, pickle jars. I think I can be of help on that, since my arms, well, if your arms are spaghetti, mine are more like cannoli. Okay. To open any tight jars, I think putting them upside down helps sometimes. To get the pressure change, I think. Oh, I'm sorry, Earl, that you're not the center of attention. Yes, it helps to turn them upside down and then opening them. You kind of want to turn them back around before you actually try to open the lid. It might go sideways if you don't. She just whacks it on the side of the counter. Or I have a plastic mallet. Ah! Okay. "200 IQ indeed." I'm almost done with my sandwich. Just a few more bites. No, not sideways. It goes pretty much downwards. Indeed. Indeed. Though as soon as it hits the floor, it might go sideways. You know? Alright. Enough sandwich. I need to actually... Give me a second. I'm pretty sure I did not get any messages. All right, let's keep going. How big is it, or how small is your bite? Yes, I'm just eating one. I am a small girl. I'm a small little woman. Your avatar doesn't support hand movement and chewing cheeks. I could try to rig the chewing cheeks. Hand tracking is kind of difficult on the Linux. So I don't even know if it's possible. Yes, I do have hands. I do have hands. They just don't do much. Could actually size myself down a little bit. There. There we go. Small? How small are you? About 5'5". So, when we're talking meters, we're talking 165-ish. You didn't see them? It's fine. It's fine. I really wish I could actually add some hand tracking to this, but also would not make much sense because my camera can't even see my hands. It would not make too much sense while drawing. And since I'm on Linux, I also have a few restrictions when it comes to tracking my mouse pointer, because that would be kind of cool to be able to add my mouse pointer movement to my avatar. But since I'm using Linux, that also is kind of restricted. Small but with words of advice? Kinda trying. Not all of it is perfect, but I try to do it as good as I can, I guess. I'm trying my best to give out good advice. Might not be perfect, but it's getting there. Yeah, I think that's a bit more visible. I might even add, just for visibility's sake, because we still have to keep in mind this is gonna be on Twitch. So I kinda need to maybe I'll add a few more layers. And then I will need sample screen color. I'll sample that. That should be the color for dark mode Twitch, and then we're going to, yeah, as soon as we're going into dark mode Twitch territory, this is gonna be really hard to read, so I actually want to add a stroke, an outline right here. Instead of going black, we're going white. Maybe not that big. Let's go for 3. Yeah, I think that should already help with the silhouette. Huh. I gave some to Fireman, yeah. I try to give good advice. If it's I cannot tell if it's perfect. I just can tell you that I might know a thing or two. And I try to give good advice. Who watches anything in light mode? There are crazy people out there. Trust me, Juggler. Light mode is for psychopaths. I fear people who use light mode, but they exist. At least I don't want to meet any of these light mode users at night alone. 'Cause that feels kind of scary. How can I improve the visibility on this? Because I do need to get a little bit more light in here. It's just not ideal. It's just not the way I wanted to. Wait, what do you do to change the document's color? I just added another layer on the bottom and use a hotkey to fill with foreground color. They use it as a torture method, I guess. But yeah, I really don't get people that use light theme. I mean, if you're the type that just uses anything that is that is default, okay. If you don't know how to change it, fine. I don't judge you. But if you know that dark mode exists and you prefer light mode over it, I'm kind of questioning your humanity here. Like, what the hell happened to you that you prefer an absolute eye strain of a reading mode? How thick are your glasses? Can you bash someone with them? Those are the questions that I'm having here. I forget to turn my brightness down when I wake up. Yes. It's pretty much just a flashbang into your face when you use light mode. Regarding visibility, I wonder why the fur has so few highlights. I'm kind of trying to change that right now. So don't worry, I'm working on it. What's light mode? I don't know. Last time I checked, light mode was a torture method. A way to blind you. Also, welcome back, Quantum. Thing is, you can barely see the highlights, which is a bit annoying. Sneak attack! Started home office around the time I noticed my coworkers use light mode. Oh! Oh! So you saved yourself. You saved yourself from those absolute psychopaths. I can understand that. I can totally understand that. I would totally do the same. Just got home and want to open Satisfactory before I go to sleep. Nice! Haven't been playing in a while. I really need to... I really need to continue my epic... Okay, epic. I don't think it's gonna be epic, but it's gonna be kind of cool. My, Cathedral of Gothic Factorization? My Gothic Factory Cathedral? Played all weekend, plus my garbage rocket fuel plant tower. Ah! I still don't have any trains. Like, I have them unlocked, but I have yet to actually place any. They are a little bit intimidating. I need Rice to help me out. Can't stop playing Satisfactory, and this week me and a few friends started a server to play 1.1 and 1.2. Ah, that must be great. That must be so great, especially with 1.2 when you also if your friends know the game well enough, you might as well just generate a random world. Nothing to do for tomorrow. Either I do another... Don't keep adding all-nighters. You need your sleep at some point. Everyone needs to sleep. I try to keep my sleep at about 8 hours if I can. And I actually try to get to bed at an okay-ish time. I think the latest I have gone to bed by myself, because usually it's outside factors that keep me awake, it's probably around 4 AM. Which was a mistake because I felt like absolute garbage after having probably not enough sleep. Though I usually have a bit of trouble sleeping when something is... when I'm anticipating stuff. Is it more visible now? I think it looks better. All right. Then I won't keep you awake. I mean, why should I? If you need to go to bed, and if you want to go to bed, I won't stop you. Oh. I'm sticking around. I'm not done here. Hell no. finally finished an emote. Let's go for the next one before I forget that I even did that. What's with this one? Go away. I think I'm going to do the rip next. Rip. This one should probably go really well in dark mode. Because I'm going to use very light colors. Hold a minute. I think I want my brush preset history on here. Ha! That's gonna work nicely for me. Oh, I really like that feature that you can just put any Docker onto the pop-up palette. Now I can just browse my brush history right there. I don't have to think. The only thing that's going to be dark is probably the outlines. Oh, I didn't actually play Portal 2 in a long time. And I think I haven't even finished the co-op missions yet. Oh no, she's going cross-eyed. Don't want a cross-eyed cat. There's so many games that I still have to play, actually. Never get around to it. So maybe you guys have to force me to play some games and actually finishing them. The finishing them part is usually the hard one. One of them still being Psychonauts. I really wanna play that game. I mean, I started it, but I kind of got stuck at the Milkman conspiracy. I have no idea how I managed to do that. Alrighty, Earl. Sleep well. I hope you're having a good night. Na na na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Come on, teeth. Cooperate. Behave! Should I speedrun this emote? Nah. Not gonna. I don't wanna speedrun my commissions. That's no fun. And I think I'm going to make those outlines blue after the fact because this is going to be a ghost. So if I'm making a ghost, I have to make kind of outlines that indicate translucency. Which means I'll have to do blue outlines. It's just kind of annoying that I can't make the hat fit. Because technically the hat on this cat is kind of important to the character design, but it's really hard to make it work in emotes. Because it takes away a lot of the shape of the cat. I think I want to connect these, else it's just going to look like a very different cat. Because these cat eyes are connected and then these wouldn't be, and it just doesn't feel right. So I better just connect these. Probably won't even be able to see those tiny little spirit particles right there. But I will still put them in here because I can. Because I know they will be here. And an extra one just for the... Now this is gonna be a bit more on the difficult side. Because here we're gonna work with a pale blue. Maybe I'm also going to make that translucent. Let's have a look-see. So we first select the outside. And then I actually want to go for the light blue already because we need to get the transparency down. Or maybe we don't. I could also... Wait, no. Could also just take this... No. This big eraser. Push the size up, put the opacity down to... Let's go for 30%. Just go over. Maybe a second time. That should already do... It should already help. And now the big thing is, how the hell am I going to make colors work in here? Maybe I'll do, instead of green eyes, blue. And we still have to go for black pupils. That almost has a bit of a petrol kind of coloring. Petrol, probably not petrol. Maybe I'm right. And here I'm just gonna turn down the opacity a bit so that the, maybe a bit more, so that the color of the nose is kind of melting together with the base color here. I'll do the same inside the mouth. Just so there is a faintly hint of what kind of color there was supposed to be. In white, I'll just go full opacity because it makes sense. But white is a lot more opaque. Oh. Gotta move my ass. And we're going back to low opacity inside the ear. Ah. Maybe I actually want to get the opacity here down as well. This looks so faintly. I kind of like that. Now I just need to add some highlights in here. For that, we actually do need the dark mode background, so we can actually see where we can add some really nice highlights to make it pop just in dark mode. So this is going to be a really nice treat for anyone who uses dark mode. Nuclear pastel, yeah, kinda. So now we're going actually for colors that do pop a little bit. But we're looking for full opacity colors here. So yeah, light mode users are going to be punished for using light mode, because why the hell not? Because I can! Alright, got a cut to finish, so I have to leave early today. Alright, thank you very much for being around, John. How do your colors select for palettes? By feel? Yeah, mostly by feel actually. Which I know sounds crazy, but somehow it works! I guess I got the colors in my bones. I have colored bones! Ah. My bones are painted rainbow. Do you not see? Bye bye, John. Have a nice evening. That just means you're a good artist. I guess? I'm just having fun with it. I'm not overthinking too much. For me, it's more I know when it feels wrong. Though to be fair, I have learned how to use colors in graphics design training, in graphics design school. At least somewhat. Anything else? Completely by feel. Well, I probably must have learned it somewhen, but I just forgot. Which is the best kind of learning? When you don't know or you just forget when you learned something. And you feel like you are just vibing through it. When your knowledge has turned into vibes. Get the book thrown at me from across the room. Those colors don't go together. Oh, God. I guess for you, actually learning color theory might help. If it's really that bad. I don't really like your builds. Unsatisfactory. More orange. More orange. Oh, I actually wanted to add blue outlines. Maybe I should do that. Because else it's just gonna be kind of dark. And I think light blue outlines, especially if they are. Let's go back to advanced color picker because we need an actually need a quite bright blue for this to work. Maybe I want to avoid the face per se. So I'm just gonna try to do the outlines here. Because then it actually looks like she's glowing. Oh yeah, I love that. That's gonna be really nice. I want these to be black right there. That's gonna be black. It's also gonna be black. Might want to go for a bit of a stronger pink. Right there. Also add start in about 2-3-ish minutes. Because aren't the natural colors magenta, cyan, yellow? No, not quite. It's a bit difficult, or better, it's a little bit different because it depends on if we're talking print or light or additive and subtractive colors. For example, light is more of a subtractive color scheme. So the more color you add, the brighter the color gets. So there we're also talking about your typical RGB scheme. And that's mostly in the digital realm because, as we all know, our monitors are made up of tiny little lights that mix and match the colors so we actually see the colors on screen. And they add to the light. However, on the other hand, when we're talking subtractive colors, additive colors, I completely forgot which one's which, but when we're looking into print, we're looking at cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And there the rule is the more color you add, the darker everything gets. or the more color intense the color gets. But usually it's darker, especially if you add more than one base tone. Some would say that depends on your color space, but others, engineers and scientists, have mapped colors to a three-dimensional matrix. I was reading some stuff about it. If
it feels wrong, don't do it.
I feel trapped.
So you already kind of know about that stuff. That definitely helps. But yeah, RGB and CMYK very much depends on what use we're talking. That's also why print is CMYK, because it puts colors on top of each other to get darker and darker. And since we have lights in our monitors, it's RGB for anything digital.
I know we have to think big if we're going to...
Which is kind of weird. No, it actually makes sense. It actually makes sense. Never mind. Alright, we'll have ads in a little bit. I'll wait for you guys. I'll be on the other end. We have ads. I'll see you in 3 minutes. And I will not leave you alone.
Think big if we're going to make a difference.
I'm happy to help, Quantum. Oh. My back hurts. I'm getting old, guys. I'm getting old. Getting very old. I really like that. That's good. All right, ads are over. We're on the last stretch. Not even sure if I will make, I'll go for too long, because my back is kind of hurting. And I really need to stretch and maybe, probably not touch some grass. It's still horrid outside. But I will finish this cat. And I think adding green to this blue here is especially when we're going for very bright green. It's gonna do exactly what we want, because I want those eyes to glow nicely. Oh yes, she a dead cat. She very much a dead cat. Maybe I'll add a few more. Kind of want to still add something to this. Don't want to overdo it either. It's always a bit... It's kind of hard to actually find the perfect spot. The more you know. Didn't know the specifics. Well, now you do. It's always kind of hard to actually figure out the best timing to stop. That might be a little bit too much. And I think I do wanna just add a little bit of blue shine atop these eyebrows. Nah. Not eyebrows. Eyelids. Yes, these are eyelids, not brows. Just to make him a little bit more shiny. See if that actually... Not entirely happy with it. Might actually look better without the additional blue on there. But this might actually work out. Since that is already white. Might as well. Yep. That actually works because the black around those eyebrows might have been a bit too much. And now it works much better. Because now those eyebrows are actually part of the fur. I do like that. I'm sorry that I might have to disappoint, but I'm getting tired. I'm getting real tired. I need a break. And maybe something proper to eat. So digital color mapping is based upon the light hitting the object, subject, instead of the object, subject's inherent color. Technically, color overall is just light reflection. However, when we're talking digital color, it's more about light emission than light reflection. Because you have to keep in mind that if you have RGB lights or anything like that, they are emitting light, not reflecting like, for example, a matte surface. That's kind of getting into optics, and to be fair, that's actually where my expertise ends. Because I have not been great in physics class. Luckily enough, that stuff is logical enough for me to kind of understand how it works, but I'm not completely... For example, a tomato looks red, but would instead look brown if you shine a green light on it. Exactly. That's first of all the inherent color that if a white light shines onto the tomato, the red is what the tomato reflects. If we shine a green light bulb onto it, kind of have to think about it as since in green light there isn't much red light to reflect, it looks kind of brown. Does that make sense? Because you don't have red, you don't have the wavelength of red light for the tomato to reflect. That's why the tomato doesn't look red when you shine green light on it. I think. It's kind of difficult. As I said, we're going into optics territory, and that's physics, and that's where I'm I do not have that educational degree to actually explain that. But I think I somewhat understand it from a trained graphics designer's perspective. Which ain't much, to be fair. I think the logic checks out. I'm not entirely sure if that's even right, but you might want to have a look into optics if you want to get that deep. Everything is just physics. No, everything is maths. Because physics is also pretty much a lot of calculations and numbers. So everything is maths. Which is just kind of funny. But yeah, I'm getting real tired. I'm happy that my eyes aren't shutting down yet, but that's probably gonna happen soon-ish, so I better call it a day. We haven't gotten too much done. But what we got done is actually adorable. And it works in small format, which is really important for emotes, because you have to be able to see them in the chat. So I really like to just zoom out as much as possible to see how it could look like in chat. It's not ideal, it's not perfect, but we're getting there. Next time, I'm not entirely sure when my next stream will be, so maybe get yourself somewhat braced for maybe tomorrow or maybe Thursday, since those are my usual streaming days. Also, there's going to be a long weekend ahead of me. I don't like long weekends because I can't do grocery shopping on the day where the holidays are. But well, it is what it is. So, I hope you had fun. I certainly did. Also kind of cool to see that Krita had a new update. So, that was definitely cool. And I hope I'll see you next time. Until then. Bye bye.